All right, so for Shell's Shell Challenge, I'm not going to tell you how many times I've had to re record this portion, but the rules are that there are 6 rooms on the lot and a deck piece. You must rearrange them to create your build. You cannot delete or add any full walls, but half walls are fine. You must also include the 3 items that she's placed on the lot, and that the build can be anything, house, business, whatever that I want. And then we can find the build under Shell's Shell Challenge, which I've been stumbling over every time I've attempted to say this, in her gallery. And then we'll go through her gallery ID and everything in The Sims. And then we'll upload using her hashtag Shellaxin Challenge. All right, so we're gonna go into the gallery, and I've already typed it in the hashtag, and we can see that there's already, at least Tay has already done it. So we're gonna go right to her challenge here, and we're gonna place it on the lot. Looks like it goes on a 30 by 20. She has the rules on here as well. And then we have a 30 by 20 right here. We'll go ahead and place it. I have not looked at this at all, so I don't know what 3 objects there are. I don't know the size of the rooms. I don't know anything. So maybe I should have before I started recording, but we're just gonna go with it. Okay, starting out, we have our 6 rooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the deck. And then the objects we have, Baby Yoda, not gonna lie, I'm fine with that. Some sunflowers, and then a really cute little display for some blankets and tapestries. Honestly, I'm not too worried. I'm feeling a little like, I'm thinking like, you know, like a grandma who has a like a grandkid who might be coming to visit or something. Maybe they have like a little room there, and like they want to have a toy or something for them when they come to visit. I think that could be really cute. Maybe we have like a little garden outside. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm feeling. So, again, we can't delete any full walls, but we can do some half walls. So, I'm feeling like this is going to be a common area, well, maybe a bedroom, probably a bathroom. Oh gosh, okay, let's see. I don't want to do anything too square, and I'm feeling like I want this to be the back porch, not the front porch. I feel like if I don't want this to be too square though, and if we can't move walls, I kind of want this to go on this side and then this to move over. So I'm going to do that and save you guys the struggle of watching me move all of these around. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't do what I initially was thinking I was going to do. So I wanted to do something a little different because I felt like what I was going to do was a little standard. So what I think I'm going to do, or what I decided to do instead, ooh, my cat almost knocked over the little glass of wine that I had with dinner that I still have barely drank. So I'm going to move this over here because that would not be fun. Is I really want to lean into this idea that like this is the little porch area, but I want to make this kind of like a screened in porch area. And really lean into this idea that like she wants to do some gardening, but we can make this like a 3-season porch. And then maybe make one of these other areas kind of like a combination of like a bedroom, maybe / like an area for her grandson, because I'm also trying to figure out how none of these rooms by themselves are really like bedroom sized. So I'm trying to also space out a bedroom / like social area, because we have this huge room here that we can definitely make into like a kitchen dining room space, but I can't delete or add any full walls. So she made it tricky because none of these are really a good bedroom size. So The way I'm picturing this is like a grandma and then like an occasional, grandchild staying over. So maybe we can do like a rollaway bed or something like that. Or like a kitty corner or something. So maybe we could put like the bedroom over here, and then this could also be like a living room, and then we could have like a rollaway bed or something. So with that in mind, I think I'm gonna do kitchen, dining room, then bedroom slash like kid corner, kid section of the room. Like we can probably make something look kind of like um, built in with that. Living room slash like hobby area, bathroom slash maybe like shower area, like powder room, maybe. I haven't 100% decided on that. And then outdoor hobby, three seasons porch type thing, and then outdoor porch. So, first things first, I'm going to try to roof this. And that was the last they ever saw of her. No, so you may notice here that I'm wearing a completely different outfit. That was because last night I recorded all of that. And I built this entire build while narrating. This is before I realized that there was no way I could fit that entire build while narrating in a logically short video because I am what they call a yapper. So, what I ended up having to do was speed up this build. And today, I'm now going to narrate over the build that I did yesterday, sped up. So if you want the full yapper version, I actually have the video where I'm narrating the entire thing. With that video beneath the version where I am now recording today's version over it. So I think that video is about an hour long and this one is about a half hour long. So if you want the full yapper version, let me know. I will say that this roof right here is the worst roof I've pretty much ever made in my entire life. When I told Shell that I roofed this thing, I told her it was like an onion because it literally is layered. I did try to make it look a little less bad. You'll see in a moment. I believe I called it Bulbasauring it. Um, it didn't really help, but I took inspiration because the neighbor's roof over there has this nice shape to it. So I was like, you know what? Let's stick with the neighborhood vibe and let's try to Bulbasaur it. It really didn't help. And I'm pretty sure there's like a key you can press so that they'll all be about the same angle. I don't think it would have helped in this situation, but you know what? It keeps to this nice little rustic charm. So, as I said earlier, the inspiration for this house is a grandma who um, has her grandchild come and visit every once in a while, right? So I wanted to keep this kind of like rustic idea of this cute little cottage type feeling, but in a city, right? It's not like she lives in the middle of the woods. So while decorating, I wanted to find this really cute, not cottage feel, but this lived in, like she's had this house for a long time. She's had a really nice life, living in it. She had a partner at some point who's passed away, and they've had kids and they've had grandkids and so on and so forth. So I really liked this window, but I had a heck of a time trying to find the matching windows for this. Eventually I did find some, but as far as I can tell, I would also like to mention that I do I do struggle very much with the different icons for the different packs in The Sims. Now, I am in the EA creator program. I have been in this program for a very long time. You think by now that I would know the different pack symbols, but I do not. And I'm so sorry, EA. Please do not kick me out of the program. I will study up on them. I will make flashcards. But eventually did find the small 1x1 window, and I did find the circular one as well, but I think there should be more. I wish that there was the ability to sort by the size of windows by like the dimensions. I also wish there was the ability to size or sort by the dimensions for like art too. I have this struggle later on, as you will see, but eventually I put out some of the windows that I want in the different styles just so that I can refer to them later because I'm really struggling for my life here. But I really like that there was like some windows that were open, and I was like, oh, this is really cute, like I'll use these throughout, but I didn't want all of the windows open, but eventually I make it work. So I decided that I want this front room to be the bedroom, and the window that, or the room that I'm decorating right then, was going to be the living room. So we're going to work on um, kind of setting up the windows first, but I'm really struggling with the height of the windows because when I'm looking at them from like an outside perspective, I'm not sure how high they should be. And I feel like I need furniture to help like differentiate how high they should be. And so after I get the windows kind of situated where I want, I can start going in and like, I feel like counters are like the best way to really determine how high I should put windows. But I'm never good at doing that. Also, with like the different sizes of windows and the different room dimensions as well. So, like the bathrooms, obviously, I want to put like that circular window a lot higher. Now, here I got really excited because I wanted to try to use like the new glass windows or the new glass walls, but I was like, this doesn't really fit like the whole cottage view that I was kind of like envisioning in my head. And I don't think grandma would really, this just doesn't fit the vibe of it. So eventually I get rid of this and I go back to adding the windows. But then I also struggle with the whole fact that wall sizes, right? The only time I ever feel like I can make walls make sense with the windows is when it's the shortest wall size. The medium and the high wall sizes just never look right to me unless you're doing like the loft apartments. So I really liked, again, having like the windows that look like they're open. So I went with doing two of them that were kind of open, one that wasn't. Eventually figured out how to remove wallpaper because, Lord help me, I've only been playing The Sims since the very first, rendition of The Sims, but I digress. Eventually figure that out. Eventually add a door that also is full height. I also struggle with this because having a really tall door that is with the short wall size is really difficult to find. So I struggle with the wall size. I struggle with finding the door size. I'm also realizing that I really think I need to spend some time just decorating. I have not spent a lot of time just building in The Sims in a really long time. And I think that I really struggle with my like identity as a simmer because I'm so much in the storytelling of The Sims that I don't spend a lot of time just decorating and playing. I'm very much like a legacy player. So I have one family that I primarily play on my stream, and that family is the only one that I really decorate and build in. And so all of my builds are very family oriented. They're very I build and I expand as my family builds and expands. So they usually only get like one nice house per generation. And it's not, you know, built all at once usually. So I need to spend some time and I need to challenge myself and really get into building. So if you guys have some suggestions of things that you want me to build or maybe even like starter friendly ideas or like things that I should really focus on, I would love the feedback because I really truly do want to become a better builder and things that would help me just like accentuate basic builds because as you can see, I'm really a very basic builder and I always have been. So I went with like the white wood trim for pretty much everything. The general idea that I really wanted was that this is not a new house, that this is a house that has been lived in for a really long time. So the floors are going to be really old. The walls are going to be definitely wallpapered. I really wanted to do like wood trims on the bottom of everything. And nothing is new. Everything is just really well loved. Like you can tell that she's lived in this house for a really long time. She may have updated the wallpapers, but like the floors haven't been refinished in a really long time. Kids have grown up in this house. Kids have moved out in this house. Like there's just been a lot of growth throughout this house's lifetime. They probably weren't the first homeowners. I also really struggled with this bathroom because I liked this, but then I ended up going with a green color. And what I really wanted to do was some dark green square tiles here, but I could not for the life of me find simple dark green square tiles. We have a lot of octagonal like this or honeycomb, but we don't have just square dark green tiles. So I went with some brown ones and I didn't like that either. So I think I ended up going with some like bigger white tile, just kind of simple. But I'm just saying, EA, if you ever decide to watch this very long, simple shell challenge video that I'm sure is at the top of your priority list, I'm telling you, dark green, simple square tiles. I expect them next kit. Thank you. I also really struggle with wood tone. I don't know if anybody else does this, but like when it comes to matching wood, especially with like wood framing on the bottom like this, I never know if I should really work on matching it or like not matching it. I went with the same color wood floors in every single room, even though I think they kind of clash in a few of them. Because, like, as you can tell, each of the wood baseboards are different colors. But again, if this house is being like the idea of this is that the floors have never really been updated, that they're just really well loved. I was like, that kind of makes sense, right? Like the floors would not really change, but the walls might change. So I was like, let's just go with that. That really small room right off of the what ends up being the kitchen ends up being a pantry. I would also like to add that in this original recording, I really started panicking because I realized that this video was going to end up being a lot longer than I initially thought it was going to be. So I started kind of like panicky decorating a little bit. So the pantry is not as well decorated as I would have liked it to be. I kind of just put storage containers kind of everywhere in there. If I could go back and redo this, or when I do my next recording and know that I'll probably end up doing it in this format, I will be able to focus a little bit better on that. I watched a few shell challenge videos before recording this, and I watched people who obviously know what they're doing and have been doing this for a while. This is my first video in like 7 years, so I really probably should not have been watching people who knew what they were doing and thought, you know what? I could replicate that because obviously I can't. So thank you for sticking with me this far. So originally, I thought that I was going to have this room kind of be more of a common area or like a kitchen, and then the other room be the dining room. But then again, I think I'm used to more of like modern builds. So I wanted this to be a more like traditional kitchen that would have been something that they would have grown into, if that makes sense, like something that they would have had for a really long time. So I made this into a kitchen / dining room and kept it all one room and went with this really cute matchy green. I love this green set. I love the color green. This has like been my obsession lately. So I went with this really cute matchy set, and I put the dining room table in this room as well because I don't think she would have a formal dining room because it's just her in this house. So I kept this feeling of just like, she has this house all to herself. Why would she have a separate dining room? And same thing with the decorating. Like if she has her own little like area, because I wanted that outdoor, that little 3-season porch that I was talking about. I wanted it to be this area that she did some gardening, but I didn't want it to be this whole idea where, you know, she has like this huge garden outside that she has to spend all day working on because she's not like a crypt walker, right? She's not like she's like at the end of her life, but she doesn't have all of the all the time and the energy in the world that she used to. So she likes to dabble in gardening, but she might not have all the energy to do everything that she used to. So I wanted to have a bunch of plants inside and really nod to the fact that it's her hobby, it's not her obsession. So I put some curtains and whatnot up. I did start putting them over the one over the stove, but then I realized that maybe putting some curtains right over open flames might not be the play. We added some plants in here. I also thought that there was another like hanging herb set, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I could not find it, and that's what I'm spending so much time looking for here. And it wasn't this one, but there's another one, and I think it's a dried herb set. And I'm not exactly sure if I was just missing it or maybe it's under a different category. But I feel like there are herbs and they're hanging. And I swear that it's from one of these sets, but I couldn't think of it. I also wish that they had these shelves in like a natural wood because I felt like it felt more of like the old time vibes that I really wanted for this. But I ended up just going with these wood shelves instead. But those really old, like the connected shelves, I think I end up using them in the bathroom. But that vibe would have felt really good in like an old fashioned kind of pantry room instead of just doing those big open shelves. Having those like kind of almost weird looking connecting shelves, I think would have been a really good vibe. I had a really good anecdote with these chairs, and I'm kind of bummed that I don't have it in this recording. If you end up watching the yapper version of it, or if I end up actually putting the yapper version up, you might enjoy this because I had some good backstories to why we have these mismatched chairs and the stories that went along with how these random mismatched chairs came into the Sims family. I'm not even going to try to replicate them because I won't be able to. But I feel like every grandparent's house have mismatched chairs and like stories as to how they came into the family. So I thought that would be kind of cute to include. As I continued going on with this, I realized already that I was spending way too much time trying to decorate without over decorating, but I also feel like I wasn't doing it justice because everything I wanted to decorate, like I wanted to include so many little knickknacks from her life, right? Because if this is a grandma's house and she obviously has grandkids and stuff, there would be little drawings and there would be little knickknacks everywhere. I also thought there was another type of gosh, I can't think of the word now. I thought of it last night as I was putting this out, but now I can't think of it. But there was a different one of those, and it was classier looking, but I couldn't find it at that point. So I stuck with that one, and I really wanted to like deck it out with china and other little decor items, but I couldn't find a lot of clutter quickly. Another reason why I probably should spend more time decorating and building and whatnot. But this kitchen kind of reminds me of the kitchen I was in growing up because my dad had pictures of like our hometown growing up and things from like my hometown's like the founding, streets and like when they redid them from cobblestone to like the first bricks and all this kind of stuff. And I thought that was kind of neat. And I figured that she would probably have things like that too. So the 3 required items we had was that blanket display, those sunflowers, and then the baby Yoda. So my original thought for this room was that we would have like that kids corner and then the bedroom corner. And I really liked that idea. So I stuck with that and I kept it where she had her bed here. And again, her partner probably passed away, however many years ago, but like she had a good life. She had a happy life. She had her kids, she has her grandkids. So she has like lots of good memories and she's not sad about this. So she has her good old classic nightstands on either side and her bedroom and everything. But then the other side of this bedroom is where her grandkids come and stay. So I wanted to keep this side of the room very classic, but I also feel like every time that I've stayed with like my grandparents growing up and stuff, that their bedrooms were just very like no nonsense. It was just their bed, their nightstand, their dresser, like just very simple, very classic. And then we always had like a little corner where we had like our toys, our toy box. Eventually I find the dollhouse and they have that farm dollhouse and I obsess a little bit. I kind of flash back to, do you remember those, it was like a plastic farm toy. It was like a big, I feel like it opened up almost into like a toy, like a dollhouse type thing. And it had all the different farm animals and stuff. I like flashed back to that as I find it here. And I hate how big the dollhouses are because I would have loved to include something like that in this. But I obviously couldn't fit it in that space. So I put the little room divider in there because I thought it would be cute to just have like a little section of it be for, the grandkids when they visited grandma, but keeping it still like that side of the room is still very much hers. This is where I'm obsessing over this. But then keeping like a space dedicated to her grandkids when they come and visit. I also wanted to put a rug over here, but trying to find a rug with all the different swatches was difficult to fit in this little area. And then I also realized that grandma probably wouldn't find a cute rug. She would probably put one of these old knitted ones. So that's exactly what I did, is I sized it down and I just kept it over there. Because let's be real, grandma's probably not going to have the most stylish thing. She's going to have whatever she finds at TJ Maxx, which is fine. We love grandma for that. So we're going to put in the wardrobe over here, which again was like a standalone wardrobe. I don't know how grandma put all of her clothes in there, but she did. And they were always perfectly pressed and ready for church. I don't know how they did it, but they did. At least that's how my grandma was. So we have that. I think we moved into the living room after this. And inspiration kind of struck me for the living room based on the living room that I had growing up, which again, my dad's not old. My dad's like my parents were not older parents when they had me. They were actually kind of young. But my dad's house growing up was built, like, I think my dad's house was built in like 1890s. So it was this really old Victorian house and I loved it. But the styling of it was always kind of just this older style. Like we really decorated to the style of the house. And I've always kind of loved that style. I've always thought it was really pretty. And I really wanted to find a couch that fit that vibe. And this maximalist couch that I put out here, I thought was going to be it. But none of the styles fit like the furniture or fit the wallpaper without being too much. Now, if that pink could have been any other color, I think it could have worked. But it just didn't. So I really wanted a big couch, but none of the swatches worked. So I think we end up going with a green here that I think kind of clashes with the wallpaper, honestly, but it's fine. And then we always had two like big leather chairs on either side that just, they always match. That was just always the thing, I guess. So we have two of those. And then I sold the lights from the bedroom because for some reason, once you had like one fancy standing light, you just like copy pasted that throughout the house. Like that was the light that you just had. So I put those in there as well. And I think I ended up grabbing a painting from the other side of the room because again, like you have to have those old city pictures from your hometown from, you know, when it first became a town. I don't know if anybody else had pictures like that growing up, or maybe that's just what my family did. We also had pictures of like our ancestors that I like obviously never met, like painted portraits of people that, you know, were generations and generations back that I actually am kind of wondering now where they are. I might have to ask my dad about that. Anyway, I looked around for a picture for a while until I remembered that I had one on the other wall, and that's what I ended up grabbing, I think, like right about now. But then I was also trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this wall because I didn't want to have too much clutter and I didn't know how many hobbies she would really have until I was like, oh, she would definitely have a standing piano over here, but not a really nice one. She would probably have that more worn down one. And I didn't want to redo the windows based on furniture. So that's when I was like, hey, look at that picture. And we'll move that over there. Ta-da, perfectly. I'm not actually sure that I ever moved those windows back. I'm kind of hoping I did, but looking at this right now, I'm not sure I did. So shame on me if I didn't. I'm thinking it might be shame on me. Right here is where I'm realizing that I didn't want to do like a full garden out here, that I wanted it to be more hobby rather than like the obsession. So I added a few, like, I think I found some like little planter cups and things like that and added them out there. And same with the bathroom. Like I didn't want to do anything extravagant. I wanted to keep the really simple toilet. I wanted to get that bathtub, like the claw bathtub with the shower that's built in because that's, you know, of course, that's the vibe that she would have. It's probably one that's been in her family since forever. We had a claw bathtub growing up that was probably a slip hazard all of the time because like we used to use Mr. Bubble bath wash like when we were kids. And like if you stood in that porcelain, I think it's porcelain, bathtub and you would slip, like you would crack your head open without a doubt. So I wanted to keep that same kind of old, I think they're called like bear claw. Are they bear claw tubs? Is that the correct? Whatever. So the claw tubs with the old medicine cabinet type vibe, sink coverage. I did remember the toilet paper because I knew if I didn't, Shell would never let me forget it ever. We did add that same shelf that I was originally trying to put in the pantry with a bunch of random storage things. And I don't know if anybody else's grandparents have like random expired suntan lotion in their shelving, but mine always did. So that also could be because they lived in Florida. So depending, I guess, on where your grandparents live, your results may vary, but that was always the case for us. So I put some in there and decorated with the most basic kind of floor mats, nothing frilly, although sometimes they were fuzzy and that always made me feel a little weird. The fuzzy floor mats in bathrooms always make me feel a little ick. This is when I'm realizing that the video would probably be over an hour long. So I just really kind of went crazy with decorating it with just containers and all the different clutter that I could find that would look like storage. Now, if I had more time, I would have probably gone into some debug maybe and added like some cereal boxes and more simple stuff like that. And I do feel bad because I feel like I kind of didn't do that justice. And I also feel like there was a lot of clutter that I missed. And I was getting a little frustrated because there was a lot of things that I know I've used as clutter in different Sims builds that I just wasn't finding. And I think that part of that was that I was kind of rushing, and part of that was just that I wasn't looking clearly. So I do admit that I'm a little disappointed in myself for this room. I also feel like I would have added some like little recipe cards and things like that that just aren't in here. But overall, the last two things I did were the porch with a little bit of the gardening things in here. This is where I find some of those clutters. And then that back porch. And that back porch I really kept simple. I just wanted to put some simple areas for her to sit and relax. Like I didn't want to put a grill. I didn't want to put anything too extravagant. I just wanted her to have a simple place for her to go and sit. It actually reminded me of my grandma growing up, who passed away when I was 10, but she just had like a simple porch out there where we used to go out, and she had a huge tree, and we used to watch the little pinwheel seeds fall. And I just remember sitting out there and like watching them fall as a kid. And that was kind of the vibe that I wanted her porch to have. Just a nice little table and a little bench and just a place for her to like enjoy her little coffee and tea and sit with her little gardening stuff. So that was just the overall feel that I wanted for this house. And I do feel like I did fit it. I think that she would be really happy there. I kind of want to make a little sim and maybe make her little grandson, because that's just what I'm picturing in my head, who comes and stays with her like every other weekend or something like that. And maybe have them go on a little adventure or something like that. But hopefully you guys like this build. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, if you want the full Yapper version, I'll upload it, but I'm telling you, it's going to be over an hour long. So I think this is sped up by 2.25, I think. It's embarrassing. So I'm going to stop yapping, and I'll let you guys finish watching the rest of this, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. I'm live every day, Monday through Friday, on Twitch. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks. We're going to size this down. And then something else, like right here, like one of those, yes, like one of these. I think that's everything that I've included. So is it the most decorated thing in the world? No. I think I need to want to put one light out here too. But for my first shell challenge in 9 million years, it's not that bad. And I think Grandma could be really happy here. I'm going to pause for just a second and add some landscaping so you guys don't have to watch all of that. And then we'll do our little final review. And here we are. I hope that you guys enjoy, and I will have this up on the gallery. Thank you so much, Shell, for hosting the first shell challenge that I have done in a very long time. And thank you guys for checking out the first YouTube video that I posted in 7+ years. I'll catch you next time. Bye!